Uganda, where Uganda holds parliamentary and presidential elections in February or March next year, and the political temperature is already rising. President Yoweri Museveni has led Uganda since 1986 and is widely expected to win another 5-year term. Analysts, however, said disillusionment is growing in the ruling national resistance movement because of corruption and failing public service. The opposition regularly complains of vote fraud and accusations. Opposition presidential candidate Kizza Besigye was arrested earlier this month as he was headed for a rally in what his supporters call an escalating crackdown.
Supporters of Ugandan presidential aspirant Amama Mbabazi surround his car as he slowly drives through the town of Soroti in northeast Uganda. Mbabazi is seeking to unseat veteran leader Yoweri Museveni in next year's elections. Mbabazi, an influential figure in the ruling national resistance movement before he quit the party, has held large rallies across Uganda. He is running as an independent candidate after his bid for the NRM ticket was frustrated. Like in other towns where Mbabazi has held rallies, police try to disperse the crowd in Soroti. It is not long before scuffles between the two begin and the police resort to tear gas. Ugandan law requires anyone planning to hold political rally, demonstration or meeting to inform the police, who have wide-ranging powers to stop them if they have reasonable grounds to do so. Police have previously acknowledged arresting some of Mbabazi's supporters, whom they accuse of distributing campaign materials before the legal campaigning period. Rights activists and government critics say intimidation is growing as presidential poll due in February or March 2016 nears.
This is just an attempt to make what I'm doing difficult, but as I said in Soroti yesterday, simply postponing the inevitable.
71-year-old President Yoweri Museveni has been at the helm of Ugandan leadership since 1986 and has scored landslide victories since multi-party politics was introduced in 2005. Opposition say the rebel-turned-statesman runs an administration that is increasingly corrupt and which abuses the state and army to hold on to power. Museveni has also been accused of failure to follow due process to become a candidate. The opposition is challenging his candidacy because the NRM party has yet to legally declare him as their presidential nominee, even though the Electoral Commission has already handed him his nomination papers. Still, Museveni is expected to win again, but analysts say the challenge from Mbabazi, a former ally who still commands a following in the ruling party, may be his toughest yet.
President Museveni, if he leaves now, will be remembered for the tear gas on the street, the suppression of the opposition, the different rebellions that he's been fighting throughout his reign in power since 1986. He's been fighting rebellion after another, I think over 19 rebellions. So I think that President Museveni has at no one time been able to keep this country at complete, total peace. And he's looking for a time when he can do that, when he can show marvelous streets and high-flying planes and good road networks and trains and things like that.
On the road to a rally on the outskirts of Kampala, police in early October stopped a convoy carrying opposition presidential candidate Kizza Besigye. Police have detained Besigye several times in recent months and banned his supporters from gathering at what officials say are illegal rallies. Days after this incident, police arrested Besigye as he prepared to travel to another rally. Besigye is the candidate for main opposition group Forum for Democratic Change, FDC.
Our rights as citizens have not changed because of taking forms to the Electoral Commission. And we are a registered political party in this country. We have legitimate party activities, including getting our candidates at all levels, which is going on, which the NRM is doing. The NRM is conducting its primaries. We must conduct our own primaries. We must prepare our own candidates for elections. So this is simply a criminal project of the Museveni junta.
Besigye and his supporters accuse the government of an escalating crackdown. Activists say female opposition politicians are particularly vulnerable to sexual harassment.
Now, one of the ways of discouraging a woman from participating in public life is to show her nudity. Because remember, she has children, she comes from a community. It's like you undress her completely, not the physical undressing, but even mentally.
Besigye has stood and lost the previous 3 elections against Museveni. He has been repeatedly arrested and his public rallies often broken up by volleys of tear gas and sometimes live rounds. The police have accused him of seeking to use an Arab Spring-style uprising to topple the government.
So quite clearly, the FDC have watched keenly what's happening across the African continent, the emergence of people power, the emergence of popular protest as a way of rejecting bad governance. The FDC, after the last election, around that agenda, it was crushed, brutally crushed by the Museveni regime. I do think that even if that happened now, the Museveni regime will crush it brutally.
Museveni's government is credited with stabilizing aid-reliant Uganda, expanding the economy and sending troops to battle Islamist militants in Somalia. But the opposition say free speech is stifled, votes are rigged and state institutions are used to support Uganda's aging leader. Aaron Ocheng, KTN News.